Okay, I think we had a little problem. So the audio didn't work. They were saying me. Sorry about that. So we are now live. I will restart everything again. We have, I was talking for 4 minutes, but no one was hearing me. Apparently, sorry about that. So I will restart. So the thing that I started to say is for the people that are connecting abroad. When I mean abroad, it's out of Spain. Just to tell you where Salamanca is. Salamanca is a little town, university city near the border with Portugal. Which happens to be in between Madrid and Lisbon. So we happen to have PyData group here. This PyData group was founded 1 year ago. Since then, we have had seven meetups already. And we usually give this presentation in Salamanca, in the University of Salamanca. And we use the space that Media Lab give us. Nowadays, we don't have this opportunity due to COVID-19, and we have to have this presentation online. So if any one of you is interested in giving a talk, we are open, and we can send you a message via Twitter, or no matter which social media we have, or even here with YouTube. And we will be delighted to have you here. We have to thank Media Lab and also Telefonica, who funds us and who gave us money last year, and we hope we will have their funding even with the COVID situation afterwards. And without no further delay, I will introduce Hui, who is gonna speak about Webscraping using BeautifulSoup. We had 2 meetups ago a Spanish presentation, but he talked about Webscraping and web scrolling. But today we are going to have Hui talking about a little bit more about BeautifulSoup, which is a library that we use in Python to do that. And I'm going to introduce Hui Xiang, who is going to be our first international speaker today. So Hui is a senior analytics manager at Sense in Singapore. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Statistics and a Master of Science in Business Analytics from the National University of Singapore. Besides that, she was a Data Science for Social Good Fellow in 2017. She received the prestigious KDD Impact Program Award. She also coordinates the B.Sc for Social Good group in Singapore, and her blog, Data Double Confirm, was named in the top 100 data science resources on masterindatascience.com. And on top of that, she's a great friend, and I am biased, but this is gonna be a really great talk. Like, welcome to PyData Salamanca, guys. And Hui, you can start.
Thanks, Victor. So yeah, I have been wanting to go Salamanca, but it's kind of like difficult and it's so far away. And I'm really happy to be able to do this as part of PyData Salamanca meetup. So for today, I'll be covering the basics of web scraping using BeautifulSoup, and also I'll be going through 3 examples of how we can use the BeautifulSoup to scrape data on different kinds of platforms. Yeah. So sometimes when you go onto different websites, like certain articles you see, and there are like certain formats that are consistent throughout. So for example, in this page, it's an article about 25 countries where people learn fast, think on their feet and accomplish a lot at work that is ranked, where you have the countries and a score tied to it. Okay. So basically there are like 25 countries, and then they just display what their scores are for each country. that they have tabulated using their own methodology. Okay, so the ultimate goal for us is, for example, if we want to consolidate some data and we want to avoid manual work, so because there could be like a lot of time wasted doing manual work, or there could be like human error when it comes to manual inputting or copying and pasting. So what we are trying to do over here is to write a piece of script to help us scrape the data into a particular table format, which we can use for our analysis after that. Okay, so the goal is to basically get the data off in a table format that we can analyze. Okay, so in general, like you don't really need to know how a website is being created, for example, to be able to do web scraping. There are like standard steps that I will cover, and then at the end of it, hopefully you'll be able to do it on your own. Okay, so on each page, if you were to highlight a particular part of it and right click, you will see this particular function, this button called inspect, which you can click on it, and then it will show you the HTML behind the page. So there are many different tags to which like the text on the website is being tagged to. And in this case, like if you see the country is being tagged to this tag called H3. Okay. Whereas for the score, if you were to click on inspect, it's being tagged to P, a P tag. Okay, so there are like a few libraries that typically when you want to do web scraping, you just import them. So it's a standard, like whenever you want to start a piece of web scraping exercise, you just import all the libraries, including BeautifulSoup. Okay, so there's requests as well. And then this is also another standard piece of code that you can just keep recycling whenever you do your web scraping. So you include the URL of the website which you are trying to scrape into that site. And then there's this like driver parser that, user agent that access the website. So there are a few of them, but Mozilla is a standard one which you can just use it to access any website. And then there's a few parsers. So one of them is the LXML, and there's another one that's HTML.parser. So sometimes LXML might not work depending on how the page is being designed, but it's okay for this particular website. So the I would say the advantage for LXML is that it's faster. Yeah, and basically after you query it, then you can make use of the function find all in terms of like the text that you're trying to find. And then it will return you all those texts that are being tagged to this particular tag. Okay, so in this case, as you can see, like for the countries, they are being tagged to the tag H3. So now it's being returned to us. Okay, when you just make use of the function in BeautifulSoup, okay, .find all. Okay, so now the thing is that we actually see this text embedded in the H3 tag, but we only want to get text. So we remove those tags by using the .get_text function, okay, and you get it in a nice clean format. Okay, so previously what you can see is that there are two components in the text where you have the rank, the number itself, as well as the country. So that these are like just some Python operations which you use to split, okay, basically the two components up. Like I want to get the number on its own and I want to get the country on its own. Okay, so next you save this output in a list format, and then since it's like in an array as well, like you want to convert it into a data frame, and then you can just easily rename it. Okay, so now you have a data frame consisting rank as well as the country. So next, what we want to do is to find the scores. Okay, so how do we find the score? So after we make use of the function find all for the key tags, we realize like there are a lot of other things on the website that is tied to this tag as well. Okay, so what we usually do is that we will try to find where is the thing in this whole output, okay, that we want. Okay, so if you scroll down further, you'll be able to see like there is this these few things that we are looking out for within the output. Okay, so the thing over here is that it involves a bit of trial and error, where in terms of trying to get that exact score out, we have to locate that line position, the output line position. Okay, so for example, I'm just testing out, maybe it's line 11. Like say, for example, there's a lot of output and I don't want to count, like I don't bother counting. I just kind of make a rough guess which line output exactly is. So I start from line 11, or rather in this case, it's like, because Python starts from 0, right? So this is line 12. Okay, so I realized that, okay, this is not the first score. Okay, so I go back a little bit, and then after testing out a bit more, I realized that it is like at the line 7. Okay, so over here, you can see like there's certain typos as well. So instead of score, like on the website itself, it's written as source, but it's okay, like, because we know this means, I mean, it's just a typo, like this actually refers to score. Yeah, so we start reorganizing our code, like we want to do everything at once. So instead of getting each score one by one on its own, we can now write a loop. So we find there's a pattern in which like the score is being stored in terms of the line output. So it's every alternate position, and then there's like basically 25 scores. So as you can see, like I'm looping it through 25 times, and I'm getting the scores that's located on every alternate position starting from line 7. Okay, yeah. And again, like I'm splitting on this particular symbol, colon, because what I need is the figure behind. I mean, yeah, the number itself only. I don't need the score text itself. Okay, so now I can get this particular small list, okay, small table, and then I can append it, like I can join it basically, sorry. I can do a merge, and now I can get the final table that I want. Okay, so with the country and the score on its own, and with its rank, corresponding rank. So that is one common example where we can actually see the lines itself through inspect. Okay, I mean, see the HTML code itself through inspect. But there are certain cases where after you highlight the text on the page itself, and inspect doesn't work, okay, when you right click on it. So this is another example where there is data like listed in a structured format, which you can see over here, but it's not in a, like, again, not in a table format that's easy for us to analyze. Okay, so again, we have to scrape like this data off into say pandas data frame for us to do any analysis. Okay, so by copying and pasting this whole chunk is not going to help us in preparing it to be a format that's ready for analysis. Okay, so in this case, what I want eventually is, again, like to get the countries, like the cities and its rank, and the arrivals in the 2 years, okay, as listed on a page itself. Okay, so yeah, this is how it looks. And the country, so the rank is first, and then followed by the city and the country and the number of arrivals in each year. Okay, so what I can do now is that after, again, I read in the page using BeautifulSoup, okay, I can print the code using soup.prefig. Okay, so basically there's a function that can print out the HTML itself. Okay, so I still can inspect the HTML, but I do it within say Python or Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so next, if I were to dive deeper, I can see that it's tied to the div class, and there is this particular subclass component called paragraph underscore component. Okay, where we can find the data that we want. Okay, so again, like there is some form of trial and error to locate the exact position of that first line where it contains the data that we want to scrape. Okay, so it happens to be output in the line 23, and then we can again use the get text function to clean away all this text, okay, the div text and the span text that we don't really need, like basically those HTML code that we don't need in our output. Okay, so what eventually next we do again is some form of cleaning, where we split the output into the components that we want again, okay, into different chunks. Okay, so rank is the first part, so we take the component before the first full stop. Okay, and then again, like the next. Yeah. So eventually, what we have is that final output, which you can see just now. Okay. Yeah. So all these are basically just further, I would say, data preparation stuff, okay, cleaning stuff to get it into that table. Yeah. So these are the basics of using BeautifulSoup, and I will go into some examples now. So again, like there are many different kinds of sites that we can apply web scraping on, as long as they, in a way, we scrape with ethical behavior in such a way that like we use the data for proper analysis, like I would say like for ethical analysis, like for our own interest kind of stuff. Okay, so there are certain sites that actually ban web scraping. So if that happens, you will know, like when you again apply the standard piece of code to read the data in from the site and it doesn't work, that means there's some form of security that they applied, which they ban web scraping. And also there are like some pages which have many or rather like large chunk of information that you're trying to scrape off. So that's some situations where you might like to apply some time lapse to your to your loops, so that the website itself won't ban you, because like when they detect abnormal behavior, like that is not really human, like in our case, we are really trying to mimic human behavior, right? Like through using a program. So we still have to appear human-like in a way. Yeah. So that's when we apply some form of time lapse in between our loop. Okay. So over here, I'm sharing this particular example, which we have collaborated with a non-profit in Singapore. It's called ACRES in short, but it actually stands for Animal Concerns Research and Education Society. So this initiative is actually a collaboration with high school as well, where we get high school students trained to perform certain data science tasks. Yeah. So we are trying to improve data literacy in high schools as well through our initiative, and then we partner with a non-profit organization where they actually need resources like data science resources. Yeah. So the objective they have, like one of the things that they do is to identify illegal wildlife trading on e-commerce platforms. Okay. So in Singapore, so this is actually like done in a form of a hackathon. So it's part of this hackathon called Budding Data Scientist Hackathon. Yeah, and I'm just presenting slides that are done by the students in their final presentation. Okay. Yeah, so in this slide, what you're trying to show is that the severity of the problem, yeah, where there's a lot of illegal trafficking, okay, animal trafficking around the world. And actually Singapore is like a top 10 major hub for illegal wildlife trade. So this is a problem that we need to solve. And what ACRES is trying to do is that they try to identify illegal wildlife trading, okay, sales that are happening on this particular e-commerce platform called Carousel. Okay, so usually they will go through the listings, and of course, like they have domain knowledge, like they know exactly what to search for. Okay, they do it manually. So what we try to do over here is to help them write a web scraping program, okay, a script that gets information that they need from the platform. Okay, so some information that they need includes like name of the product, user name or ID of the seller, price itself, the brief description of the product that's provided by the seller, and also like the time which the product is sort of like published on the e-commerce platform to be sold, and the link itself to the listing. So what you can see on the left is the code itself, where we try again like to identify where the information is being tagged to, and then we scrape into a table. Yep. So at the end of the day, yeah, they can actually look through the table and then be able to operate more efficiently. Yeah, without spending too much time on like doing manual click, copy and paste, which they have to do. Okay, so the next example I'm going through is how we can also scrape directories we see on the web. So for example, like for the Singapore government, there's this directory that consists of different contact information for ministries and stat boards. So what you can see on a page is basically each organization is being listed, and you have to click through the organization to access the information, like the contact information itself. So again, like there are standard structures where the ministry that it's being tied to, okay, for the stat board is first stated, followed by the name of the organization, and then address is provided, as well as there's like a website that people can feedback, as well as some organizations, they have like logos and also telephone contact number and fax numbers as well. So again, like there are some differences here and there across how organizations list their contact information, but in general, there are some consistency. So again, like the pain point I feel is that sometimes there could be too many clicks needed to see all information at once. And what I try to do is to present all the contact information in one page, and I make use of Tableau as well. So after I script the data, I present them in a dashboard. Okay. So what I did is I try to get the information again, like using BeautifulSoup. Okay. And these are the few things that I scrape off. So the name of the organization, the address, the telephone number, the fax number, the website, as well as the email address. And over here, as you can see, like I make use of this parser, html.parser. It works in this case, yeah, rather than the LXML. So again, like it really depends on the context. Okay, so if one doesn't work, try the other one. Yeah. And again, like there are certain loops that I write because there are things where I have to get the URL of the organization itself first, where as you can see, like, and then I go into the respective page of each specific organization. Okay, so I have to first get all the URLs of the different organizations and then go into them to scrape the information one by one, page by page. Okay, so certain organizations, they don't have certain information. In this case, I make use of try and accept, because if not, like the code will hit an error and it will run. So in this case, if I were to use try and accept, like if I can't find the information, I will save it. I will save a NA, okay, a missing field. Okay, save it as a missing field. Yeah, and then the code will run. So eventually, what I get is in this nice table format. But of course, there are certain cases where you can see the data itself is not exactly clean. Yeah, so I did again like some cleaning after that. Okay, so in this particular side project that I did of my own as well, I other than scraping the text itself, I also scrape off the logo. Okay, so I write a loop and then I look for the logo, the URL itself, and then I download it into a folder of my own. Okay, so that's where, like, yeah, all basically all the information that I wanted is being collected, and I can present them on the dashboard. Okay. So this dashboard is what I've created, and I actually put all the different organizations on the Singapore map. And then if you were to hover each point, you can see more information about them. So basically the contact information and that logo, okay, which I have scraped off as well. Yeah. So if you were to click on the point itself, so instead of hovering, you click on the point, you can see more actions. So all these are like inbuilt Tableau functions. Yeah. So just for more information on how Tableau works. Yeah, there are links that you can click on, which again is something that I scrape off as well. So you can click and then it will bring you to that page. Yeah, that's being linked to. Okay, so the last example that I'm going through is web scraping on new updates. So this is something that I have done recently. Yeah, and this is relating to updates that are published on the Ministry of Health Singapore website relating to COVID. Okay, so COVID-19. Okay. So every day, the Ministry of Health will publish like multiple updates. So if you can see like on 25th April, for example, there's like three articles. And then what I'm doing over here is I am interested in knowing the number of updates, okay, that the organization has published since the virus situation started. Okay, so I scrape the data of the website using BeautifulSoup. And then as you can see, like over here, all these codes are standard, which is something that you have seen just now. Okay, so you just have to update the URL of the website you're interested in scraping. Okay, and then I locate where the dates are. Okay, and it's tied to span. Okay, the tag span. And yeah, as you can see, there are like multiple things that are tied to the span tag as well. So eventually, like I clean it up and then I just get the date itself and I did a plotly chart. Okay, so over here, you can see like the number of updates the Ministry of Health has on the website, okay, on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So again, like from here, it involves inference. Okay, like so if you have collected this piece of data and you have plotted a piece of chart, so exactly like what is this chart? What is this data trying to tell us, right? So for me, like what I want to know is, for example, like maybe based on looking at this trend, I can identify like certain periods where more work is being involved by the ministry in trying to control the situation, or like the number of measures that they are introducing, okay, as the time goes by. So like for example, in February, you can see like the amount of work probably picked up because they realized that the virus, like they get more and more information relating to virus, and they know that it is very infectious and they need to do more work to try to control the situation. And of course, like something happened in March, and then you can see on March 25th, like the number of updates shot up. Okay. So there's a lot of announcements that the Ministry of Health has to make to let the public know exactly what the situation is like in Singapore and exactly like what the citizens, like what the residents have to do. Yeah. So there are many articles relating to web scraping as well that I have published on my blog. So my blog is called Data Double Confirm, and if you were to Google it, just Google Data Double Confirm, and it should be the first one that you see. So it's hosted on Wix, yeah. And the code relating to the two exercises that are shown just now, okay, on the board one as well as on the MOH updates, they are also published on my GitHub. Okay, so my blog actually has linked to my GitHub as well. But I mean, if you were to just search my username, you should be able to find. So there are like a lot of other notebooks on web scraping as well. So there's another one relating to book depository, like another e-commerce platform that I published on my GitHub. Okay, so yeah, this is the one that I was referring to. Okay, MOH COVID Jupyter Notebook as well as the Statboard Singapore. Yeah. So this is the end of my presentation. So feel free to ask questions now. And yeah, if you're too shy, you can always ping me your questions.
Thank you very much. I want to applaud.
Thanks, Victor.
So I think we don't have any question right now on the chat and YouTube, but I have two questions for you. So I've seen we were doing the same. So like 2 days ago, I gave a little presentation about how I'm scrapping information from COVID-19, but in my case, it's from PDFs. And I happen to have this problem with formats. So every now and then, the Spanish Health Ministry is changing the format of the PDF. So it's a little bit complicated to adapt that. So I'm changing my code like every 2 weeks because they are doing that. So do you have this kind of problem also? Like, I don't know, like the Singapore ministry had changed the format of the website, so you had to adapt your code or something like that.
Yeah, I can totally relate to what you are saying. So in those situations where they keep changing format, so like for example, the number of cases that are being confirmed in a day, and also like the details relating to the case being confirmed, and also those being discharged, or the number of deaths itself, the way that they present changes from February to March to April. So the thing is that like cause since it keeps changing, I decided that in this case it might be more efficient to do manual updating on my own. So I have to say, like, there are certain constraints when we have to do web scraping that we need to meet first, where the format needs to be standardized. Like, it can't keep changing. If not, it's not efficient for us to do the web scraping anymore. Yeah.
No, it happens to me the same. I had to change manually everything, almost everything. Yeah, but it's what we have. It's our deal. And I will have another question. Do you know another alternative to BeautifulSoup, or can you tell us? I don't know. You had told us a little bit about the advantages of BeautifulSoup and how you can scrap things, but do you see any inconvenience? I have heard like dependencies are a little bit complicated sometimes.
Okay, so far I hasn't really run into much problems using BeautifulSoup. The thing is that sometimes when it comes to pages that are reactive, like Ajax websites or something, then Beautiful might not work, but I haven't really found like a solution around it. But there's like some other modules that I heard before as well, like Scrapy. So based on what I have read, like those are really good if the data is presented in also like a structured table format or something like that, and then you can run a few lines of code to get the information off. But so far, like I am pretty comfortable with BeautifulSoup, and it has been working. So which is why I guess I just keep using it. Yeah.
That's nice. So there's no question, I think. So just a little announcement for everyone that is hearing. So next Thursday, we will have another meetup. It's not announced yet officially, but we will have Juan Luis Cano, which happens to be the former president of Python Spain, and who spent here some time in Salamanca with us before the COVID outbreak. And he will talk about PyTest, and that will be next Thursday at 7 p.m. And this time it will be in Spanish, I think so. Or otherwise, if there is a lot of people asking us to give the presentation in English, we will switch. So just that. Thank you very much for attending here, and thank you very much, Hui. It's always a pleasure to meet with you and catch up also.
Yeah.
So I congratulate you because the presentation was really nice, and see you soon. Okay, bye guys.